welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I'm your host, Christian, the unbiased king, Espinal, and joining me through Discord, it is the man, the myth, the legend, the tank top sage. It's Joshua. Gangsta Time, Cole.
It's called Partner, but it should be called Gangsta Time.
What's good, Chris? What up, everybody listening?
Oh, yeah. Also joining us, it is our producer, Wrong Burgundy.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Sup, nerds? It's me, Wrong Burgundy.
Yeah. We're back for another shorter week of manga. We have 3 series this week. Very excited to get into it. We're recording a little later than usual because your boy's been sick as hell. But I'm recovering. I'm back. Now ready to get into it. Let's get into plugs. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Joshua Cole, where can they find you?
At JD Cole_37, that's on Instagram, and at New Jump City Josh on TikTok. For those who still have it on their phone.
All right. How about you, Wrong Burgundy?
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
You can find me at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram. And if you ever want to catch me when I'm streaming, you can find me at twitch.tv/itspunchline.
Oh, yeah. You can follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok as well, for as long as we have it. Should we get a blue sky? Is that important? Is that like a thing now?
A blue sky?
Are people on blue sky? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It feels like the ethical thing to do.
Yeah.
So we might do that. I just remember like blue sky handles being excessively long for no reason. Like by default.
What do you mean?
Like it's always your username plus like blue sky something like a sequence of numbers. But I have not been on there very long, so I actually don't know.
Interesting.
But that's neither here nor there. You could follow us on those platforms. Email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about. And we'll do it in our pre-show chat show that we usually do. We didn't do one this week or last week because we've been on a bit of a time crunch these last couple of weeks, but we should be good for next week to come back and do a pre-show. Would be very excited for that. I might be coughing throughout the show. I apologize. I'll try to be as professional as Josh and mute myself if I ever have to cough. Yeah, do that. Email us any questions, your thoughts on the series. That would be nice. You could also comment those thoughts on our YouTube channel, where we have not only full episodes of the podcast in full video glory, we also got, I do these little highlight breakouts for every series that we cover. Every series gets their own little video. So if you don't want to listen to the whole show, you can listen to the sections that you like of the series that you enjoy and are following. So hit us up on that. Like, share, subscribe, comment what you guys thought about the chapters and let us know. And let's have a little dialogue, guys. You can also listen to us on anywhere you listen to podcasts. The usual Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the very popular Castbox and Pocket Casts are also an option for you guys. We're pretty much on every audio podcast platform known to man. So check us out. And without further ado, let's get the show started with our very first series of the week. One Piece. This is One Piece chapter 1139, Mountain Eater. We open with this cover page story. We're continuing the story of Yamato's Golden Harvest surrogate pilgrimage. Where last we left off, Yamato and the gang have been investigating these disappearances and have tracked it down to Who's hideout, where he, after the battle in Onigashima, has been hiding out with what seems to be gifters of their own. So there's these are smile fruit, devil fruit users that are behind him. And there are 2 people being dropped before him. They say that they've captured a rebellious duo. I'm pretty certain that this is supposed to be Page 1 and Ulti, which is crazy that Ulti even survived because she was like, she had a hole blasted in her through Nami with like the climate attack.
But ancient
He's the
zones
one
are
with the big forehead.
Yeah, she's what was the name of the dinosaur? The Paleosaurus or something like that.
sounds right.
Yeah, something like that. The Paleosaurus.
And like Brian was saying, they are hella fucking resilient.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I guess it makes sense.
And Page One survived getting punched in the neck so hard that it went like a 70-degree angle. I remember we measured it on the podcast. Like we put an angle detector to like the way that his neck bent when Big Mom punched it. And I believe it was 70 degrees. So good for him for surviving that. But that's it for the cover page story. We are moving onward into the chapter itself as we open with Roto, Luffy, Zoro, and Nami investigating the castle a little deeper, the castle that they're in, where they're looking for the keys to Loki's chains. And as they travel deeper, they find the landing pad that the Holy Knights have left behind when they teleport here, the pentagram thing. So they're like, what is that, Mark? Yeah, they're just examining. They don't really know what to do. Roto explains that it's the thing they use when they summon, it's the thing they use in ritual demon summoning in some country or other. So, I wonder what country that will be. So,
Malaysia.
Yeah, and Luffy's like, I think I've seen this though. This exact circle. You have, bud. You saw it just recently. So, that happens, and then they get interrupted by someone saying, "Straw Hat Luffy," and this voice from wherever it's coming from is saying, "I've been hoping to meet you." Everybody thinks they're ghosts, but then a giant axe comes in and nearly misses Roto. And we see the person who threw it is none other than a man called Mr. Ya. And this is the man who we've seen gallivanting around Elbaf, but also on a previous cover page story where this person seems to have been having a drink with old Crocus. I wonder who this guy is.
Yeah, me too.
I wonder if it's Golden Lion Shiki.
No, it do be looking like him a little bit. Yeah, I feel like we still haven't seen his feet yet, so
Yeah.
we don't know.
No, we don't. Well, his legs are currently right there in front of us as he's...
Yeah, no, but we got to see his feet to see for sure. That's how.
Fair enough. So yeah, he's yelling, he's like, I've held some very abnormal hockey coming from the castle earlier, but it seems to have left, and now I find you here instead. He says, I've heard some stories about you, including that you've taken care of Kaido. Boy, I'd love to go traveling around Wano again. He seems to be a big fan of Wano. He has like the straw hats from there. But this guy's been to Wano. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's odd.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, why would he go there?
So Luffy's like, Surya?
He's just a random guy.
He's just some dude. He's Golden Lion Shiki. He's never been to Elbaf.
Maybe he has.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. What do I know? So yeah, Roto explains that this guy goes by Mr. Ya in Elbaf, and he explains that this is Ripley's husband. What?
Nothing.
Hey.
Gotcha. Tighten up. Gotta tighten up.
So, yeah, so, this is the father of Colin, the husband of Ripley, the human that has been roaming around and has been depressed that he ages while his wife is going to stay young forever. And they explained that Colin is actually 20 years old. So technically he's Luffy's age, just like a year younger. And Ripley is 80 at this point. So
Damn.
that's pretty young in terms of giants. They live to like Dorian Broggy are like 100, like several centuries old, I believe. And Mr. Ya says that, let me tell you something, marrying a giant's not worth it. I get older, they stay the same age. And Nami's like, I guess that's true. I mean, you could grow old and die, basically. He's like, I'm just surprised someone's actually done it, has, like, married a giant. And Mr. Ya jumps down, is like, love is free. There are many mixed blood races throughout history. The Buccaneers, the Dosundada, the long arms, the long legs, and the Wotans. These blended peoples don't tend to last very long in every era, but there have always been people who are more open-minded.
Do we remember the Wotans or the Dosundada?
We've not met either
Have
of
you ever
these.
seen them?
That's brand new.
Yeah, no, we've not met either of them, to my memory.
What if
we have.
I told you
Who's
I was from the Dosun?
the Dosundada?
We've met a Wotan before.
Who are the Wotans? The Wotan clan?
No, they're
Name of the podcast.
so the Wotan that we first met. Oh, the only
I
Wotan
tapped
we've
so
met.
hard it almost crashed us.
I'm sorry, Brian.
He's
sorry.
he's one of the guys from the Foxy Pirates. Big Pan.
Really?
Yeah, he's a Wotan.
Wow.
What does he do? What's his thing?
He's
what are
really
they-
fucking big.
What's distinct about these
He's a
people?
big guy.
So Wotan is a fishman giant hybrid.
Huh. Oh, wow. Yeah. Damn. Huh. That's interesting. So, anyway, Zoro's like, you seem to know a lot. Who are you anyway? And Mr. Ya is like, I'm a preacher of love. And Luffy laughs because that he sounds just like Sanji. And
Yeah, he do.
it's kind of funny. This kind of pose, I feel like Jiraiya has done a very similar pose like this thing when he got first introduced. So maybe Jiraiya vibes coming on. So Luffy tells him about like that he's gonna search for some cuffs, and Roto's just, look, don't just tell him about it. And of course Luffy is like, oh, forget I said that. And Mr. Ya is like, Loki, eh? Fascinating. If there's one thing I love, it's other people causing trouble. Which, Nami is just like, that's very tacky. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't tell anybody about this. So Mr. Ya asks, like, do you know what kind of man Loki is? If the worst should happen because of this, what's your plan? And Luffy's like, I'll beat him up and put the chains back on him. And he explains that, like, years ago, red-haired Shanks captured Loki, but prior to that, no one's been able to stop him. No one's been able to stop him. And as he's talking, as he's continuing to talk, Luffy and Zoro just walk away. They literally say he's going to be yapping for a while. I think he's going to be yapping for a while.
Zoro's like, you're wasting our time.
Zoro's dumb smile, just like, yeah, that's true.
Like the pun.
Yeah, he's like, true. Let's get out of here. And Nami's like telling him, he's like, we should listen. He's giving us a warning. And in that moment, Mr. Ya seems to get a pretty vivid memory of a visage that looks crazily like Gold Roger, saying that, like, I'm sick of all your warnings. Are you afraid? And the figure that looks like Scopper Gaban says, if you want to stop me, you have to do it by... Well, Roger's like, if you want to stop me, you have to do it by force. And Scopper's just yelling at him to remember the risks. And so he has a little memory.
Idiot Roger.
Yeah, he has a little memory. Luffy reminds him of Roger. And we cut over to Oimo and Usopp just talking about stuff. And he's telling a story about Mr. Ya. About in the old Pirate King's crew, there were two others who were especially strong. One of them was Rayleigh, of course. And the other was someone else. They tell the story of a man who, when Roger needed to go rest and heal at a hospital, they had to go to the mountains where the hospital was located. Unfortunately, they got surrounded by a bunch of enemies, but the fellow went out and took out hundreds of enemies with just his 2 axes. And Usopp is just shocked. He's like, 2 by himself with 2 axes? But they explain there's more. In the place he fought, there was only the bald mountainside left, not a single tree standing. So not only did he defeat everyone, he seems to, with his mighty slashes, cut down all the trees in the mountains. And because of that, he gained the epithet of the Mountain Eater.
That's fire.
Even Jinbei is like, well, it's a well-known story. And they explain that after the first mate Silver's Rayleigh, this man was known as the Pirate King's left arm. And I wonder why they would tell that story. This guy's clearly Shiki.
Fuck you.
I don't know. I feel this feels kind of irrelevant to me, but anyway. The giants, they make their way through the castle, and Mr. Ya explains that that they're making their way down to the treasure room. Nami's attitude suddenly changes. She's like, "Yay, treasure!" And they arrive at the treasure room, where at the center of it is this stone pillar thing holding the key up, perfectly upright. And Mr. Ya jumps over to it, and he's like, "Here's something no burglar would care to take." And Luffy's like, "Yes, the key." And at that moment, Mr. Ya starts like removing like the outer, his cloak and his hat. And he explains that, in other words, releasing Loki is something even the wicked dare not do. So will you still take this key? And as they're saying that, the giants say that he is here. He's been living in Elbaf for 20 years. The legendary figure who stood shoulder to shoulder with Roger and Rayleigh, the left arm of the Pirate King, Scopper Gaban.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Chills.
Yeah, pretty sick. And we get a cool panel of Scopper holding the key and just like looking
like a
pretty
big
sick.
ass keyblade.
Yeah, for real. I was like, oh, he is the one who will open the door.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is One Piece chapter 1139. Josh, what did you think about this chapter?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts about the chapter and about our current Wrong Burgundy situation. I don't know exactly how you want to go about this. I don't want to steal your thunder if you have a little something planned, Chris. But
Not particularly.
I would like to ask Brian at least one question. Not really? Okay.
Who's Brian?
Well, I'm not going to rub it in because I have a Wrong Burgundy. So the first question is, at what point did you feel like you knew for sure? No, that's wrong. That's not the question I want to ask. The question I want to ask
wrong.
is, when did the seed of doubt start to begin? When did you start getting really nervous, Mr. Burgundy?
Let's see. When I saw the axe, that's
you
when I
don't
knew I
remember?
was fucked. Huh? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Like, when did you start, like, I don't know, like when you was reading this chapter, at what point did you start feeling like, this doesn't look good?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
did you, or was it till the very end? The axe. When does
when I
he
saw the
have an
axe, when he threw it at them.
Literally the 4th page or the 5th page.
And when the reveal came out and he was like Mr. Ya, I was just like, okay, wait, he didn't reveal himself as Scopper yet.
Wrong Burgundy thought he had another week.
He looked like he could have been cheeky.
He deadass thought he was gonna have another week. He's like, they're not gonna say his name until next week, probably.
Yeah, I was like, okay, he's decided to go by Mr. Ya for now. I'm chilling. I don't have to deal with this for this week. And then I got to the last page. And I was just like, fuck.
I'll tell you what. I was also like, fuck. Brian got away with it for a week or maybe more. They're probably gonna make it a big dramatic reveal later down the line.
I was like, shit, man.
And then you
Really had to fucking say his name.
They started talking more and more about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasted opportunity, honestly.
All
I
right.
should have waited.
I'm gonna tell you, for me, when I knew, so Chris had said we have a bet for this week, right? Or something like that in the chat.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that Chris won. I swear that I did not think that Chris won when he said that. I just was like thinking maybe he's even bringing it up to make sure, like, damn, like I lost, right? Like it could have been, for me, it went either way. But that's when I thought to read the comic. So I read that shit instantly as soon as he sent that message. And for me, when they got to the flashback, when he looked at Luffy and he had his like little flashback about Roger, I knew it. I don't remember anything about Sakamoto, not a fucking thing. I don't remember the axes. I didn't even remember his name a month ago. You know what I'm saying? When we started talking about who this might be in Elbaf. But I knew for a fact that, like, based on recent information, that's the nigga that was with Rayleigh and Roger. So I knew it. I was like, yeah, it's over. It's a matter of if they're gonna name him. And then they started talking about all his feats, and they said the left arm of the Pirate King. I was like, yeah, we getting a Ron Burgundy this week. What a chapter, though. What a chapter. This, I'm not super hyped for Scopper Gabon like Chris. I could never ever reach those heights of excitement.
Yeah.
Even putting the wrong Burgundy aside. I mean, I'm gonna get there soon. I'm doing my reread of the One Piece series, and I'm reading arcs that I completely dismissed from my mind, like the Whiskey Peak arc, which I actually thought was Drum Island.
Yeah. What can I mention something?
Whiskey Peak. Anyway, I digress.
Can I mention something?
Roto's grown on me. What?
You've already met Scopper and Rayleigh at this point.
No, I didn't.
Both characters have already appeared at this point that you're reading. They probably weren't named at the time, but there's definitely a young Scopper and a young Rayleigh.
Oh God, the news is killing him.
Yeah, it's too much to take.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you've seen them. You've seen them both.
So it was in a flashback?
Yeah.
It was in a flashback?
Yeah. You'll have already seen them. And now, you know what? I'll send you the exact panel.
Damn, you had this shit
And you knew that when
pre-planned?
you was reading it too, right?
Because it happens super early. It happens in the East Blue Saga. You probably see them both then.
Whatever, man. I mean,
Probably in the Shanks
what am I
flashback.
supposed to say? I suck. I don't pay attention at all.
No,
I don't know One
I'm just
Piece's
saying.
methods,
I'm just
Chris.
saying as a fun.
You got it, bro. You knew? Did you know? All right. I do have a genuine question. All right, I'm mostly joking.
I'm not trying to be a shout.
But I do have one question. Nah, listen. Me and Brian for sure know, and anyone who's listened to like at least 2 or 3 episodes of a One Piece, coverage on this podcast, knows that Chris is the One Piece GOAT. He doesn't need a YouTube lore channel. He can spit it at any point. All right, I know that.
Top.
That's facts. And it's so real. It's so real because Chris remembers everything because I've been quizzing him. I got more. I got plenty for
You
this
got me
Alabasta
once.
series.
You actually got
And
me
they're
once.
always gonna, my thing is that it'll always be fair.
Yeah, no,
that
you
was
got
a
me
bonus.
once.
All right. I caught Chris. All right, Brian. Do you remember the Pirates that were in Django's dance party side story? The pirates that
I
attacked
don't.
full body.
No, I don't.
All right, does this look familiar?
No. What is that? What
The
is
Tulip Pirates?
Tulip Pirates?
Yeah, this is the Tulip Pirates.
The Tulip Pirates.
I don't know about the Tulip Pirates.
Bro, they fought full body in Django. It was a big fucking deal, man.
Did Christian know about it?
Island,
No, I
think,
forgot
or
it.
something like that.
That's where he got me. He got me with the Tulip Pirates.
Damn.
He didn't know the Tulip Pirates. He didn't know the name of the pirates.
That was my.
And I told him that's a bonus because it's in a side chapter, and it's super niche. So, but for when it counts, it's always a fair question. Most of them are names of characters, because that's Chris's bread and butter. So I really want to get him on that. It means a lot to me, and I really hope, Chris, that you're not looking up character
I'm not.
dictionaries of
No.
One Piece, like One Piece wiki, just
I
to
know. I
refresh
swear to God.
yourself. I can only hope that it's just.
I tried to-
I could tell you that he wouldn't do it because
times you've read and watched it.
I could tell you for sure that he wouldn't, because I have spent years in car rides, just randomly, walking through the halls. Christian will come up to me and he would give me One Piece trivia. He would just test me out of nowhere. He would just be like, so, how many tattoos does Nami have? And then I would be like, I don't know. And he'd be like, she has 7.
Yo,
She has
Chris
one.
got me. Chris got me the other day, man.
She has
and I was so
one.
ashamed.
I reverse quiz Josh. Josh hit me with a
Chris got me
question.
on Choo Choo, bro.
Josh tried to get me with Shoo Shoo.
Oh, it was way worse.
Josh tried to get me on Shoo Shoo, and then I was like, "Do you know who Shoo Shoo is?" No. You know what? No, he asked me a question, and then he asked me to quiz him, and I picked what I thought would be the easiest possible, middle easy question, because he just read it. I was like, "Who's?" Who's the dog from Orangetown?
It's really bad because I asked him that same question not that long ago.
You asked me that question
That's
like
what
a
makes
week
it
ago.
I'd love to make as much excuses. All right, can I redeem myself? Why don't you ask me another question?
Hey, but no,
On the
I'm not
spot
trying to
right
quiz you. I was just, it was like a little fun fact.
No, I want to get quizzes too, man, because I'll be updating you guys where I'm at in the story. I don't know how y'all feel about that. Have y'all been enjoying the side show
Yeah, it's always fun to do that
to bring back
because
memories?
I did it with what's it called, Undead Unluck. So it's just a fun thing to do.
Sendokan.
Yeah, post your progress. Yeah, I've been doing One Piece with my here. Not
The
oh my
highlight
god, what the
moments.
fuck? Hajime no Ippo too.
Yeah, negative.
Yeah. Anyway, we should get. What are your thoughts on the chapter, Josh?
Yeah, that was quite the tangent.
Right?
Yeah, I was saying a few things. I mean, at the end of the day, Luffy's that guy. Kagurabachi sees Gold Roger in him. He has the will of D. They did mention that pretty at Whiskey, at Drum Island, Kohira said the will of D. She knows things and she's mad old.
She is mad old.
She knows Gold Roger, man. She knows that nigga, man.
She does know him.
She knows him. She knows him personally.
I think she knows him personally.
They hung out. They hung out a lot. They probably sailed the seas together too
No,
for a little while.
that wasn't the case.
No, you're not willing to jump out the window with that.
No, Kureha
No?
was never
You're
a
not gonna go
pirate.
on a limb? Oh. Okay. No,
You willing to bet?
you don't think she was just saying that?
I'm willing to bet. It's wrong breaking
No,
me bet.
no. But yeah, I bet you are. I bet you are willing to, huh? Yeah, I just read it too. I remember what she said, but it could have just been things she was saying to Chopper. I'm not willing to put my nuts on the line for that. I'll be honest.
She did not travel
But
the seas.
I
She
think
was-
that if that it came out later on that she actually did sail the seas with him for a little while and rejected the idea of being a pirate the entire time, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think you guys would either.
Yeah, I mean, I would take it. I will become wrong Burgundy if that happens. Because I'm swearing up and down that she did not sail with him. But if it's revealed that she did,
Not wrong Burgundy, man.
No.
Would you sign for that? Like,
I would
you
sign
could
for
believe
that.
that's a possibility.
No.
If they did reveal that, you'd be like, yeah, all right.
I'd be fine with that. I'd be
You'd
like,
be cool with
whatever, I
that?
guess. I'd only be disappointed in the fact that it would make me wrong Burgundy. But, it's got to be a first time. I'm 2-0 in wrong Burgundy
You would love
battles.
it. Okay. I don't have too many other thoughts.
All right, wrong Burgundy. What are your thoughts?
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
It was I think it was a pretty sick
I would
chapter.
only ever face off in a wrong Burgundy with Chris if I really had in the bag.
If you what?
Yeah, we're having some audio difficulties. But I was saying I would only go up against Chris with wrong Burgundy if I absolutely had it in the bag and Chris was like on drugs.
Well, you could get me on other series, One Piece may be untenable, but
The thing is, you'll never catch
Like
Chris making a
mushrooms.
wrong Burgundy bet on something that he would lose to. You know what I mean? I feel like he just knows.
I'm smart with my wrong Burgundy bets.
He knows where to place them.
I make low stakes, wrong Burgundy bets. Nothing more than I can afford.
He's a responsible wrong Burgundy.
I'm a responsible wrong Burgundy gambler. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I partake sometimes, but I don't go crazy. You guys are addicted.
Well, all right. You can't loop Josh into this.
No,
Josh has only had one Burgundy bet.
no, but you were raring to
I
go.
appreciate that, Brian.
Wrong Burgundy was raring to go. He couldn't wait.
Josh was trying. It was actively. He was the guy who was just like, "Bro, don't take more money out of your account. You don't gotta do this. You don't gotta do this." And I just went ahead and I did it. I bet it all on fucking black. And
Right,
I was
I
wrong.
did.
I was wrong. Anyway, this is a pretty sick chapter.
I was the unbiased guy for once.
You're right. Look at you.
Pretty sick chapter. It was a cool ass story. I love it whenever One Piece characters drop lore about shit, about people, because it makes these guys seem like fucking demigods. Like the fact that Gabon scrapped 1v fucking 100 and cleared an entire mountain.
Hundreds. There were hundreds.
1v100s. It was honestly fucking that was so fucking sick. And Mountain Eater is a pretty fire fucking nickname. I'm not gonna lie.
The Pirate King,
you got the Dark King, you got the Pirate King, and then you got the fucking Mountain Eater. Like, come on.
Mountain.
Did this happen in Elbaf?
The Mountaineer.
No, they didn't. I guess they didn't specify. I don't think it would have happened in Elbaf, but because otherwise they would have specified that it happened in Elbaf. But they said it's some mountain somewhere.
So, also a story about Roger being sick. Interesting development there. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Oh boy, sorry. I gotta let the producing to you. I gotta let go.
Be right back.
I want Brian to hear this because I think it's an interesting thought. But I really like this chapter. This is a short chapter, by the way. This is like 13 pages actually. So it's like 4 pages less than the average chapter.
Yeah, I
of Jump.
noticed.
And it's no coincidence that he's off next week. So maybe he's taking a little break, which, whatever keeps the series going, man. Whatever keeps it going. But yeah, this was cool. It was cool seeing Mr. Ya himself. I like his design. I always like Scopper's design for some reason. Like whenever he shows up, we don't hear much from him. That's the thing. We see him a lot, and he's always like right next to Roger, along with him and Rayleigh. But we barely ever get to hear him talk. He really has only spoken one line of canonical dialogue, if I remember, in way back in the Odin flashback. Like it was the only time we really heard him speak. So Scopper, you know, we don't know anything about him really. All I know, I believe he was the navigator of the crew, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not gonna do a wrong Burgundy bet about it, but I'm pretty sure Scopper was the navigator. So I like to. There's a couple of things that I really enjoyed about this is the parallels between him and Sanji. Like Rayleigh has a lot of Zoro-esque qualities to him.
Really?
Yeah. You know, like even Zoro now has like kind of a little bit slick back hair and a scar across his eye, kind of in a similar way that Rayleigh does. Scopper being kind of like this lover boy guy, you know, free love dude. There's also I'm trying to I thought of something else just now that I am now trying to like keep in mind.
Him being
yeah, he's
the
obviously
left hand or whatever.
Yeah, he's the third in command.
You know, Zoro and Sanji are the 1 and 2.
Yeah. And this is the number 2. He has similar kind of, you know, lover boy attitude as him. There's I had something in mind. I don't know why I lost it. Fuck. But the parallel I thought is during this flashback, with, you know, that little mini flashback where they were arguing and when they were talking, when Oimo was telling the story about taking Roger to a hospital. It's almost an inverse thing to Drub Island, in a sense, where Luffy took Sanji and Nami to a hospital. And Sanji didn't necessarily have to go, but it was for Nami. But Sanji went with him to a hospital or to a doctor.
Yeah.
Essentially. So,
but he ain't clear out them fucking big ass rabbits.
Yeah, it's not a one-to-one parallel. I
do not remember the name of
the Lapins. You quizzed me on that as well.
Lapins.
But yeah, Scopper.
I am ashamed.
It's not a one-to-one. It's not a one-to-one analogy, and I'm probably looking into it a little much. But I like to think that that was a little bit on purpose. The idea of accompanying their captain to a hospital or to a doctor, you know, his attitude there with the ladies. Very excited.
Yeah, but if he's the navigator, then, well, no, people can play different roles and be in different positions based on the cruise.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to mirror it exactly.
Yeah, Sanji is a cook.
What matters is that the 3 strongest people went on that.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if I'm like lagging or.
Yeah, it is. We're off time in a little bit, but we have to get through it.
Yeah. But yeah, you go. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off your thought.
I had a very strong feeling it wasn't going to be cheeky. No, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I forgot what I was gonna say for sure. But I'll say this: I knew that it wasn't gonna be cheeky. I knew it. I knew, and not even for like real story reasons, but because like when you make a movie that's not canon with characters, the whole point is that it's because they won't interfere in the story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And him using Shiki was a pretty big deal, but like, again, like he has never. I don't think any anime movie has ever I don't think any anime movie ever got invalidated by its own like source, like, you know, material. You know what I mean? I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Maybe if somebody could leave that in the comments, that'd be interesting to talk about. Do some research on that. Actually, I'll write that down.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily Shiki showing up here would invalidate it, but it would be very confusing as to why he would be here and all that stuff. So, even like removed from all the Strong World events.
Well, if he doesn't say how, remember when we fought?
Well,
Yeah, like
well, in theory, you could have Shiki appear here without the events of Strong World being canon necessarily. Because Shiki exists within the world, and in the manga world, or the canonical manga anime world, Shiki could exist on Elbaf. And after after the big pirate war or whatever, scattered the rocks pirates, Shiki could have just ended up on Elbaf. In this
narratively it would have made plenty of sense if we disregard Strong World.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wouldn't shatter it necessarily so much because Shiki is canon.
You quote like what I said.
I did, but yeah, I'm saying that like it wouldn't shatter the narrative necessarily because of the events of Strong World, but because Shiki is canon to the manga. But we're saying the same thing. Excuse me, I didn't press the mute button. But yeah, this is a great chapter. Honestly, this is my RGC. Needless to say, whoa. Brian, you're back. Did you catch anything I had to say?
Oh.
Whoa.
No, I didn't.
Oh. Well, I just wanted to make, just to reiterate, I had a point about the Sanji and Scopper parallels that were going.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is he like a ladies' man, but he also accompanied Rayleigh to a doctor. Just like
accompanied Rayleigh or Luffy?
Oh, Luffy. He accompanied Roger to a doctor, just like Sanji did with Luffy.
True, that is true.
I could be looking a little in too deep. But I'm just
they definitely have some like clear.
I think that was a cool observation.
Yeah, it's like clear paintings that they're both the wings of Luffy for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, this was a really short chapter. Really just showing off Scopper. And I hope Gabon does not die here in this arc. Because I
wonder how he's gonna fare against Luffy.
He's probably gonna be super strong. He's probably gonna be unbeatable.
Luffy is pretty fucking strong right now. I'm genuinely curious to see how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
Because even Rayleigh was sweating against Blackbeard. You know what I mean? So
yeah. No, I mean it's possible that like he's not as strong as Luffy is right now. But he's still gonna look cool. They're gonna show him out. I mean, it's Scopper Gabon, baby.
Yeah, I wonder what his expertise is. If he's like a hockey specialist or if he's just built different.
A hockey man? You mean a fighter who relies on hockey?
Don't step on the drop, Brian.
Rayleigh struggled against Blackbeard?
No, but he kind of like...
He said that he wouldn't be able to beat him at this stage. He scared Blackbeard away, like just by pure aura, I guess. But he was like... Yeah, it's a good thing he was scared away because at the end of the day, I probably wouldn't have been able to beat him.
Wow.
Yeah. That's all I got to say about One Piece. I don't want to linger too much. Anything else you guys want to mention? Any special points? Any rebuttals?
No, sir.
All righty, then. With that being said, let's move onward.
This is part of the war in the Bronx.
Sakamoto Days. This is Sakamoto Days, chapter 200. Congratulations, Sakamoto Days.
Let's go, Sakamoto Days.
200 chapters of Sakamoto Days, and this is 200 bubbles. Last we left off, Ikari had made his grand entrance, and has been a creepazoid to Shin already.
Yeah.
And Sakamoto is about to fight him. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I wanted to do it now before I forget. If you look closely at the smaller panels, not just the ones that are like very zoomed in on Ikari's face, you could see like their specific effort to really capture the reflection in his in the sunglasses. You see it better in the previous chapter. I did want to say that. I just don't remember if I did when last week was there. But I thought that was just like a cool detail.
He's not reflecting Sakamoto though.
No, but he's reflecting the background around him, I guess. But anyway, Ikari and Sakamoto are about to fight, and they just get it popping immediately. You know, Sakamoto is fighting, cool fight. He manages to get Sakamoto underwater and chains him to the ladder of the swimming pool. And Sakamoto is unable to break the chains. That's when Ikari is like, capture complete, and starts punching him. And Ikari explains that the average human can hold their breath for 1 minute underwater. We'll see if you drown first or die from me pummeling you. And Sakamoto's like, We then cut back to Shin, who is confronting Ando again. And he explains that, and Shin's like, there's a C4 bomb in the engine bay down below, right? And Ando's like, how did you know? And Shin explains that like when he tells the other assassin where the bomb is, he'll disarm it in a heartbeat and there'll be nothing to protect him. And Ando's like, you think you can threaten me, you little snot? He said, and she's like, my life's in my hands. I came here to decide whether or not you deserve to die. And he finally asks his dad, why'd you ditch me? And Ando is like, you dumbass, I didn't ditch you. I let you escape. And Ando explains that at the time he was running the JAA's orphanage and he didn't have time to raise his own kids, so he entrusted him to the orphanage. And unfortunately, that orphanage was a front. The reality, it was a brutal place where they cultivated assassins. The goal was to raise top-notch killers, and the training produced corpses left and right. So when he realized this, he let Shin go. He basically let Shin live. Essentially, he's like, I knew if you stay there, you'd be dead. And Shin is like, I don't understand, but I guess he didn't ditch me then, huh? I knew it. My dad really does love me. And Shin's like, so you saved me, right? And then Ando's like, hard to say. And he loads his gun and he points it at Shin. And he's like, the JA is after me for letting you escape. My life's a disaster now. Honestly, I regret it. I'm fed up, but now I can purge that regret. And yeesh. At that point, we cut back to Sakamoto and Ikari. And apparently Ikari has been wailing on him for a while now. And at that point, Sakamoto pulls out his gun and he's like, dream on. The water has 800 times the resistance of air. The bullet's force speed is way reduced. You can't hit me at this distance. And so Sakamoto starts breathing out. He starts exhaling to a point where there's a ton of bubbles coming out. And then he puts the shaft of the gun in the bubbles and he shoots using the airway created by the bubbles to hit Ikari with full force bullet underwater. And Ikari's like, oh shit. And then he like climbs out. He's like, I underestimated. Who would have thought he sacrificed his last breath? And Sakamoto walks out of the pool. Ikari looks behind him, but this guy is already one around him. He motherfucker Aaron Donald his way, spin move.
He looked the wrong way. Huh?
No, he looked the right way. Sakamoto was just like, wham! And he punched the shit out of him so hard that he actually does go up the slide, a water slide. Like, not only that precision to punch him so hard, he falls directly in the hole of the slide to go upward around. And then not only that, he just climbs up the slide and drop kicks him within the slide. There's no room for this to be possible. But all right, I'll take it. And he keeps like
just giving him straight work. Yeah.
Dude, he's beating the shit out of him in a water slide. And I know Brian's loving this.
Yeah, I am.
He beats him
You
so
bet
hard.
your ass I am.
He beats him so hard the slide comes apart and is sent careening towards the end. The safety, like the pillars that are holding it, snap out of place. He's punching him so hard. They both pop out of the slide, and then Sakamoto punches him through the twists, the spiral of the slide, knocking him through the ground.
Dragon Ball Z style.
For real, through the ground and right on top of Ando, where he just happens to be. So Mr. He's like, ah, and Hikaru's like, sorry, Mr. Ando, am I heavy? And at that point, Ikari is super pissed because he has injured Ando. And Shin looks up to Sakamoto, and he's like, what happened to you? And Sakamoto's like, nothing, just took a little dip. And wow, that was Sakamoto Days chapter 200. Josh, what did you think about the chapter?
Sakamoto's up there. And I'm not talking about the series. I'm talking about like the character himself. He's up there. He's top 10. I don't know where, but he's top 10 for doling out ass beatings. Without a doubt. I mean, I come back to that social media post frequently when I read this series about how Sakamoto versus Toji from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh yeah,
what's his name's dad?
Yeah, Toji.
Yeah. And it was like, Toji mid diff if it's like just straight hand to hand, like bare combat. And it said, but if Sakamoto even has like a blade of grass or an oddly shaped pebble, like he says Sakamoto clears. And like that says a lot for someone that can use cursed energy to reinforce their abilities, like their physical abilities.
Well, Toji doesn't have
He
truth.
finds a way.
Well, Toji cannot.
Time.
So Toji
without fail. Sandblaster.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know there's a lag, but Toji cannot specifically do that.
So he does have heavenly restriction, and that powers him up. So
that gives him abnormal strength, but I feel like
gives him a boost.
That gives him. I feel like Sakamoto does similar things. Honestly, I think Toji,
without having any spiritual energy.
Toji and Sakamoto is a good matchup. That much swag. But sorry, I hate this lag.
A good matchup that Sakamoto clears. No, that's fair. No, and I heard you. I heard you all the way. I hope you can hear me. But I mean, yeah. So yeah, Sakamoto's he's up there. It was important for me that he punched him up the slide. I'm not gonna try to say I called it, but when I seen them fighting in the amusement park, I did hope that something like that would happen. I hope they would fight on the slide, but in my mind, I was like, man, how funny would it be if someone got hit so fucking hard they got sent up the slide like the wrong way, and like passed by a kid that like maybe like flew upwards and passed by a kid that was on the tube, but thank God nobody was actually in there, no children or adults. I mean, yeah, and then finished him with the Goku Super Saiyan special. Like he just beamed him down to Earth and made a crater. But it wasn't Earth, it was the ship. So he knocked him down a few floors perfectly to hit Sendo. Right?
No,
that's a character from Hajime no Ippo. Yeah, Chris said it.
Ando.
And you know, he deserved it. He deserved that shit. He deserved that shit because I'm gonna tell you this: when you become a parent, you're either a good parent or a bad parent. It's very easy to draw the line between whether you're selfish or not. You could be a good parent that fucks up a lot and needs to do better, but there are bad parents that think that because they provide this or that they're not bad people. I'm not here to have a whole lecture about that. I will just say that Ando something, right? Ando.
Yeah, it's
I know
just
his name
Ando
is
right now.
Ando. Yeah. Ando's a confirmed piece of shit because he decided to be selfish about the birth of his child and his life. He looked at him as a hassle the whole time. He put him in an orphanage, and then poor Shen, who's really just looking for that that father figure and someone to genuinely love him unconditionally, I guess, being his father. Was led to, I understood like why he felt like, oh, maybe that was my father trying to like look out for me, like by letting me escape. But no, he just let you off the fend for your fucking self as a child. So he sucks. I hope he gets wrecked and put in jail. And I still also hope that Ando becomes a villain later on, that they have to fight again, and he's mad strong, and he also has mind control powers because he's this kid's father, and he's like that. And they did test on him in jail, and it worked. If it happens, I called it.
You did call it. I'll take. Yeah, that
you
would
hear
be
that,
good.
Brian?
Honestly, and that's a good theory. It might be a good theory.
I think so. Or maybe I've been watching too much Invincible.
Nah.
Yeah, how about that? 3 episodes? It's random. Anyway.
Of Invincible?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
I think
really
I'm
any
gonna
of
read
it.
the comics.
I have a lot of
I
them.
think I'm gonna... You have Invincible?
Yeah, I have the compendiums, which are the big textbook-sized versions of the series.
Dog.
I'll let you borrow it if you want.
Slide them shits by.
I'll lend you the first one.
Slide them shits. Yeah. I think it's time because they taking too long.
Invincible's good.
So I mean,
Invincible's very good.
Yeah. I've been told and been pressured a lot to read it. So I'm getting into it. Yeah, just awesome chapter. Not my favorite, but it was an awesome chapter. Brian, what are your thoughts?
All right. RGC.
Yeah, I knew it. I loaded it up as soon as I saw the slide.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
This is that shit. This is that shit that makes Sakamoto Days so fucking good. Like, they just put you in this scenario, and then they're like, all right, how many creative things can we do in this scenario? How much shit would you like? It's just like, that's not supposed to happen in this place. Punches someone up a slide, he goes fucking ping-ponging through it, chases through, breaks it, kicks him through. God damn. Come on, that's fucking peak. And that's that shit. That's like the creativity that comes through the arc. Now imagine if that didn't happen in this arc. Imagine if that didn't happen. If he didn't kick him through the slide and then they just started fighting next to the pool. That would be a little disappointing, wouldn't it?
I wouldn't say disappointing. It just wouldn't be as good.
Exactly. Now that's how I feel about the goddamn prison.
It's not the same.
I think that's a false equivalency personally, because I don't think it was as uninteresting as you say. I think a lot of interesting things happen, just not specifically with the environment, and I was okay with it. Just want to make it known.
Well, I'm not.
We all feel the way we feel.
This chapter is the perfect example of how it's supposed to be done in Sakamoto Days, because it's done it like this forever. And this prison arc is the one part that's just kind of like, for some reason, not doing it properly. But this is the shit that I love about Sakamoto Days. Every fucking part of it. The creativity, using the bubbles to shoot the gun, sick. Man, I just can't praise this kind of shit enough. I love creative fight scenes like this, and Sakamoto Days is full of them. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I also really like this chapter a lot. It's my second chapter of the week. I would place this in second place. It's tough this week though, because the other series where it was also very good. Our next series, Kagurabachi, but I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I mean, there's just like with the creativity of the battle scenes, there's also this like inherent absurdity to them. That's also kind of funny, of just knocking someone through a slide and fighting them in the slide. I think that's just like a funny thing, as well as badass and pretty cool. But yeah, I don't have much thoughts. There's a lot of action, and the sad thing about Shin, you know, his dad just like tossing him aside. Like, it may have started as an act of at least somewhat concern. He's like, oh well, I don't want him to die here. I may leave him for his own, but you know, I'm not gonna like let my son die in this fucking shitty place. But then it became like his true intentions are just like, it's a pain in the ass now, and I regret it, and I wish I'd let him die there, which is nuts. And I too hope he gets his fucking shit kicked in. I don't know what's gonna happen to Ando. I can't imagine that he.
Can I clarify?
Oh yeah, please.
No, yeah, I want to clarify something. I want him to return so that they can beat his ass again. You know what I'm saying? So he can like really see the wrath.
Yeah.
And Shen could like smoke him. Like I don't want it to be a 1-on-1 either. I want him and a couple of his friends to beat him down 3-on-1. Like that. Like Kingdom Hearts versus boss style.
Yeah. Where all of them jumps him.
You know, passing heals to each other, comboing off each other's special moves, Trinity attacks.
Yeah, one person never heals.
Deplete the HP bar. Did you know you could change the character settings?
Yeah.
You know that now, right?
I can.
I didn't know that for a long time.
I knew it when I was younger. Honestly, it didn't help that much. He didn't heal you that much more.
PODs.
He does not.
Well, at least towards the end of the game.
He does not OD. I wish he would sometimes. When a younger me wished he would have OD'd. Just so I can live and I could have beat the game a lot sooner. I gotta play Kingdom Hearts again. It's been too long.
I just started a chronological playthrough.
I'm not gonna do all that.
I'm starting at Birth by Sleep on the hardest difficulty.
What?
How are you playing it, Brian? Are you playing it using redacted methods?
No, I have the game on Steam.
You have it on proud mode?
Critical mode.
Oh my god. I've never played it in
Is that
critical.
more than proud?
It's critical.
I've never played it in more than normal. I've never played Kingdom Hearts harder than normal.
Me neither. So I'm like super nervous about it, honestly.
I did for like 5 minutes and died 3 times.
It's too much.
And I was like,
it's supposed to be a fun game, huh? It's supposed to be my Disney fun time.
I got smoked by
Who you got smoked by?
Destiny Island.
Oh my god. You know what I try to do?
Riku on Destiny Island.
Yeah, me too. You know what I try to do? I spend a lot of time on Destiny Island just training and like fighting them Final Fantasy kids. But Riku always gives me the work every time, and I hate it. And I'm like, am I just a bad gamer? Am I just bad at this game?
Yeah, he's a skill check, I guess.
Yeah, son of a bitch. But that's all I gotta say about Sakamoto Days. Do we have anything else we wanted to add?
No bears.
Alrighty, with that, let's move on.
Bloody Cross.
Kagurabachi. And with that, I'm gonna toss this over to Josh, right?
Yeah. All right. Kagurabachi, chapter 67, Kyoto Bloodshed Hotel. I had a lot of preconceived notions about the staff here in this hotel that I was abruptly wrong about. But we're gonna get into that a little bit later. I want to talk a little bit about what happened last week. Samura's daughter learned what her name is, which is Iori Samura. So that's what I would be referring to Samura's daughter as, Iori, and why her memories were sealed in the first place. It was pretty rough. Also, we got a nice little lore dump that 20 years ago, a small island called Shokoku appeared out of nowhere in the Southeast Seas. And the inhabitants of that island brought over the Datsenseki. That's the same material that, of course, Kunishige Rokuhira, which is Shiro's dad, was able to turn into the swords. And they fought and ended the battle in a year and a half. It wasn't exactly clear at what point the swords were made, but a year and a half after the island invaded, they were fended off by the swordsmen. And that was the war of 20 years ago that Samura Sr., the father, is so salty and edge about. Anyway, so we cut to also at the end of the chapter of last week. We seen Hirohiko and Toto, which are members of the Hishaku group, ready to search through the rooms to look for Samura's daughter, Iori. So yeah, we cut to this week. Hirohiko and Toto's having a totes cash conversation. After Hirohiko killed one of the staff members for trying to check them about using sorcery when Hirohiko got teleported in. And they're just like, yeah, we're going to have to search through all the doors and shit. Kuguri's already on it. So let's get started. And while they're talking, they hear a stern, "Hey, where do you think you are?" Manager of the Kyoto Bloodshed Hotel, and he's a big fucking boss man. He notices the emblem they had on their hand, and he's like, "Yeah, I know about y'all. Y'all about that life, but we're not soft either. And you disrespecting these grounds, so I'm gonna have to check you with this raging one sword style." Zoro would be disgusted. So he immediately starts clashing with Hirohiko, and Toto's just kind of sitting there and watching. Hirohiko didn't want help in the first place because he wanted to quote unquote warm up. Oh man, so cute. And she's also a little terrified of this general of what's his name, Sengoku, the manager. Because he has like mad experience. As a matter of fact, he has about 150 years of sword history passed down to him. Pretty gangster. Hirohiko himself is thinking while they're fighting, like, man, like I gotta tighten up. Like, I can't, if I really want to be able to stand on the same stage as Chi. I'm trying to do right now. From a few chapters ago, he was trying to teach Hirohiko the basics. I guess he remembered a little bit, and he also pulls off this really nifty maneuver where he like drops his sword as the manager's like taking a swing at him, and then quickly moves his sword after like re-catching it. Like he does a swift movement as they each other. Crossman style, real sick. Hirohiko says, Toto mentions, "Hey, like, you sure you don't want help?" And Hirohiko's like, "Nah, actually, this is pretty easy. I'd rather if everybody attacked me at once, because I'm also an attention seeker." And the staff members is like, "Man, you're barely keeping up with our manager. The fuck are you talking about?" Literally, as the manager's left arm just plops off. And this is the most casual limb loss I can remember in recent history.
This was as casual as it gets.
Yeah, this was super duper casual. I mean, I think when people cut off their own limbs is in a realm of its own. But even if you want to put it all together, this is up there. I mean, recently I watched Hell's Paradise season 1, and it's not a huge spoiler because it happens in like the fucking second episode, and it's also the clip that's pretty viral of this guy like getting bit by an insect or whatever and immediately cutting his hand off. You know, he did it swiftly, but he seemed to have a little bit of regret. He thought, you know, he got over it quick, but he was like, sucks, I had to lose my hand. This guy expressed no emotion. None.
Look,
he said,
if I could say something, the way his face is drawn, it more looks like this.
Like someone just spilled something on his shirt.
Yes,
like,
that's perfect.
I'd be more upset about that than he, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then I got to check my own emotions. I need to tighten up.
Maybe we all need to tighten up. Maybe we're just taking.
If this nigga could lose a limb.
We're taking things too seriously, you know?
And hold it down. I could relax more.
Right?
In my life.
We need to chill, dude.
So instead of thinking about his own health and welfare, he immediately asked Hirohiko, whose disciple are you? You're all so pig-headed, Hirohiko says. So why do I have to be someone's disciple? I'm a student of freedom.
That was a pretty hard line, not gonna lie.
That was a pretty hard line. It was. I tried to make it sound real corny and lame, but that's pretty tough. Very pretentious, but super tough.
Yeah.
And Sengoku says, there won't be a next time.
We'll see about that.
Well, spoilers.
I mean, I guess in a sense,
he wasn't wrong.
In a sense, yeah, in a sense, he was correct, but we'll see.
He was correct. Very obvious foreshadowing, but you know, stick around. So we cut to Chihiro in the room with Iori. Again, who is Samura's daughter, and I'm going to say that for the last time. And she's like waking up from fainting about the information overload that, you know, with her memories coming back to her about her past a little, you know, not entirely, but enough to confuse the shit out of her. And, you know, Chihiro and her have a really nice conversation about, like, I guess their lives. Less nice with Chihiro, just kind of letting her know what it is about what he does and how he's accepted having to kill people for whatever he wants to accomplish. And Iori reminisces, I guess because Chihiro asked, like reminisces about school life and how like basically how different like their lives are. And Chihiro says something really profound that I really liked about this chapter, where he's like, so I had this idea that it's better to live with the truth even if it hurts, but that was arrogant of me. And he wants to say more, but then he's interrupted by a knock at the door. And he says, oh, I'll go look. And as soon as he opens it, Hunter x Hunter style, somebody comes out the door and with a knife immediately and very excited. I guess he works for the Haley. That's not spoilers.
The Haley.
Hunter. Haley. You know, he's trying to level up. And Chihiro immediately apprehends him and he says, who are you? And what do you want? He's like, money. Someone called to my room. They promised me a pile of money. Just like that. I guess he didn't think about the consequences. What a dumb guy. As Chihiro notices a bunch of people start coming out their rooms and they're definitely walking towards him. They want problems. It's static season. And he looks to Iori and he's like, look, stay in the room for a second. I got to handle some business. Closes the door. And after some thwacks, splits, and she looks through the peephole and essentially sees death. maybe there's a more detailed way to put it, but I'd rather keep it brief. It's bad. Eventually she can't see anything because it becomes smeared with crimson blood. And once she hears a knock on the door, Chihiro says it's okay now. She gets out and sees the canvas that Chihiro has created with his brush of death. That was nice. That was detailed.
It was good.
That. So,
This is just some really murderous shit.
Iori's like, aren't you scared? And he's like, nah, like these guys ain't really like that, you know, like I could handle them with ease. And she's like, I mean, like actually killing people. Like, you're not scared to just do that, you know? And he's just like, nah, I'm not scared. This is my life, all right? You know, I made these choices. So, but he goes back to saying what he was saying before. He's, he's like, this is the only life I have now, but you, both of those are your truth. There's no right answer, nothing you should do. It's about what you want. And him referring to whether she wants to choose to live the soft life and be a student, or regain all her memories and live this samurai assassin life type shit that her father's caught up in. And ultimately, she decides that she wants to go back to school. And, Chihiro says, I don't have a choice. All I have is, as the door opens and we see Sengoku's head with one of his eyes missing. Pretty rough for him. And that's it. That's all we see. Because Hirohiko is holding his head. But I guess the rest of his body downstairs or whatever. As he stares at Chihiro, dead in the eyes, because they was waiting for the elevator and he came up in the elevator. Yo, Chihiro, I'm ready for you. Pause. Says Hirohiko.
Hey, yo,
he doesn't
pause.
say pause. I said that for the sake of for the sake of myself. He doesn't. He's all for it. He's all for all types of action that I don't judge. But as Iori looks with absolute fear, because who wouldn't be scared, right? But Chihiro isn't. He just says, don't worry. I promise to get you back to your life. And that's the end of Kagurabachi, chapter number 67. Brian, what were your thoughts?
Pretty fire chapter, honestly. So it was pretty cool to see the fucking, her looking through the peephole and seeing the action through there. That was a pretty cool little setup. But man, whenever they show Chihiro in in the pile of bodies that he fucking sliced up, man, this show could feel really brutal at times. And while most manga would just kind of be like, especially Jump, like when people be like cutting down motherfuckers, there's not really much dialogue about what it means to really be taking lives like this. You know what I mean? Like, even though these
just general platitudes.
Yeah. Like this manga keeps reminding you that mortality, like killing and all that stuff, it's not something that you could just walk past or just get away with scot-free. There's always something that has to be sacrificed to kill, essentially. And Chihiro never forgets that. Like, every time Chihiro kills this many people, it's not like a sign of pride. It's not a sign of heroism. It's just something that he has to do. And he hates it. Like, you could tell he hates it. But it's just, I don't know. It's such an interesting way to write a Jump series, because it's like the more that you see him, it's like the more that he's cracking under the pressure of his journey. You know what I mean? Like, he gets more and more scars on him. At the end of this chapter, like, look at him. He literally looks like he's cracking. He and at some point, he's going to crumble. And we're gonna see what happens when he does. But you know, this is just a very interesting chapter. I'm curious to see how this next duel goes, because there's no way the Hirohiko dies here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just wonder, what the fuck is gonna happen, and how this duel is gonna end. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Chris, what about you?
Ooh, yeah.
Do we agree to the legs being lost?
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, he lost his arms in the first one. He's losing his legs in the second.
And then he loses his head in the last.
Incredible. Yeah. Yeah, Brian. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you covered everything. I think there's like such a interesting thing going on with Chihiro right now, where there seems to be like a tiny bit of resentment being built between him and Iori, because he's gotten a preview of what his life should have been. He should have just been a kid who was allowed to go to school and just have like a regular life, but his life got fucked up so early, and you know, he's just been down this road forever. And although he is like steadfast, and I don't think like it's an intentional like resentment, it's more of the circumstance that like he never had the choice, but she does, and like the unfairness of his situation is one of those things that like kind of cracks through with Chihiro, and is his main driving forces, just how unfair the situation is to him, even though he is generally a selfless person and and very pragmatic. There's still a part of him that's human and is feeling all this stuff. So that's always super interesting to see him fight that battle between doing what needs to be done and doing what's right, and his own feelings about not being able to be a kid and not being able to grow up in a normal way, in the way that Iori did. So it's just like a nice little wrinkle to the character. I thought that was really cool. One thing I wanted to know, when Hirohiko did that like drop the sword thing, did Chihiro do that? I don't know why, but
I don't remember.
I vaguely remember.
Why that does seem familiar?
Yeah, I vaguely remember Chihiro doing that at some point, probably against Hirohiko, and he's just copying that now. But that's neither here nor there. It's just a thought I had while we were talking about the chapter, where I was like, did this happen already? And is he just copying Chihiro as just like, I could do that shit too? Because we see the little like panel where he tells Chihiro that they'll face off as equals. And then he does this thing that feels very familiar to me. But I'm just wondering if there's like a parallel there being drawn between the two. And notice this is how he cut off his arm. So maybe this is how he cut off his arm. This is just my bad memory gone.
No, so Chihiro cut him off. Chihiro cut off his arms with the whole, you know.
Oh.
Hello?
Yeah.
Sorry. Is it loud? Is it loud when I do that?
I could hear it. It's not super loud or anything.
But yeah, Chihiro cut off his arms after he did the whole black Kuro thing with the paper. So this was just him, you know, his idea of being an equal to Chihiro.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I thought that was pretty cool. There's a little detail thing there. But yeah, I don't have many other thoughts. I think you covered it. I thought there's obviously the splash page with the fisheye lens of Chihiro fighting is super duper cool and very artistic, and Hokuzono is a really good artist. But that's all I got, really.
Nice.
As far as Kagurabachi goes, I thought it was really good. This series is something else. It's going to be real big when the anime comes out. It's going to be the next big thing.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fucking insane.
Yeah. But that's all I got for it. Do you guys have any other thoughts? Anything you guys want to rebut with? All righty. Well, that was Kagurabachi. And that has been our show. Oh, excuse me. Thank you guys so much for listening. As per usual, you could find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. You could find Wrong Burgundy at b.esp on Instagram and Twitter. And you can catch him where he plays video games online at twitch.tv/itspunchline. Hopefully he makes it back for the end here. But there's that. You can find Josh at jdcole_37 on Instagram, at New Jump City Josh on Twitter. You could also catch him on TikTok at New Jump City Josh. He's on that. Email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about. And you can also let us know what you thought about the chapters in the comments section of any video that you're watching. Let us know what you guys think. We'd love to hear what you guys think about the chapter. If you agree with us, if you disagree with anything we're saying, I'm very interested. Let us know. Give us a like, a share, a subscribe while you're at it. We've been growing slowly, and I'm super appreciative of that. Keep the subscribes coming. Keep the likes coming if you like the show. And yeah, hopefully we'll grow more. With that being said, that's been our week for the week. There's no One Piece next week, so we'll probably be talking about Black Clover next week. Very exciting.
Yes.
Coming back into the lineup for, the period of time that it's in. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Wrong Burgundy. Didn't make it back in time, but we'll see you, buds. Stay safe, New Jump citizens.
Peace out, y'all.